Is there anybody out there? Anyone at all? Classical reference. Google it. Yeah, it would help if I had the mic ready when I started a show, but when have I ever been ready for a show? The immortal words of Tom Baker. I'm far more effective when I don't know what I'm doing. Now, I am a few minutes early. I'm allowing for metric, but we'll see. Oh, Rachel, not too late. We have a winner. Rachel, welcome to the show. Tracy Rothmeyers, happy birthday, Bubala, the big 2-9, huh? So glad you could make it. It reminds me of the old joke. There was a woman who claimed to be 29 years old for many, many years, and it became a running joke, and her friends and family used to tease her. And then one day her son got tired of his mother constantly getting abuse, and he said, I am so sick of you people tormenting my mother because she says she's 29. I know she's 29 because I'm 30 and she's been 29 my whole life. Christopher Wilkinson is here. He says, good evening, Bob. Good evening to you too. Love the photos. He sent me some great photos of his dad when he was in Navy diver school. Great stuff. BK on the air is your, oh my God, BK, my buddy. So good to see you. Had so much fun at the last Retropalooza. We've got to do it again very, very soon. Oh, and but I am going to take you up on your offer. My buddy Barry has basically given me an open invite to anytime I'm free to be a guest voice on his radio show. My dad always said I had a great face for radio, but I've already done it a couple times and I love doing it. Just yeah, at some point I'll probably text you first, just to let you know, and they'll say maybe this coming weekend. But anyway, Barry, I'm definitely gonna take you up on that. Thank you for the invite. Gary is here. I knew you wouldn't be a four corners. He says, "Hey there, chaps, I'm back." And oh, Kevin is here from the entertainment headquarters. Hello, Thrash, and apologies for today. Don't think anything of it. As you guys all know, Kevin and I were going to have a show earlier today. It would have been my normal tug spot. But I was going to bow out because I am not an expert on the next generation films like everyone else on the show today was. So I bowed out gracefully. Kevin and I were going to talk about the evolution of 50s and 60s television American preferred. Unfortunately, he's had some pressing personal matters that had to be taken care of. So we had to postpone. You're going to come when you get back from San Diego. Looking forward to hearing you from it, my brother, and I hope everything works out. Commiserations, my brother. Tracy says, thank you for the birthday wishes. You are most certainly welcome on behalf of me and everyone else. Gary says, R.I.P. Rick Hurst. What did he play again, by the way? Help a brother out here. What did Rick Hurst play? The name sounds familiar, but I can't place it. And hey, we got 6 people in the chat. That's a one hell of a good start. And by the way, speaking of topics, tonight's topics is going to be on 60s movies. And I tried to keep it middle of the deck difficulty. Tracy says, Robert, that's something that I know about early TV. Kevin, Tracy would be a phenomenal person to have on that show as well. I was taking some great notes today. I don't want to give the game away, but there's some really interesting stories about how TV evolved in the 50s and 60s and some of the pressures that actually changed it. But again, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Rachel says, my niece got married yesterday. Oh, congratulations. Good luck. Don't know if she's planning on having any children, but good luck with that in the somewhat future. Gary says, Deputy Sheriff Cletus Hogg nephew to Boss Hogg. Oh, Cletus Hogg? Yeah, I knew it was something Dukes of Hazzard. But I haven't watched Dukes of Hazzard in 40 years. Rachel says, I feel so old. I just referred to something from 40 years ago. I know how you feel, Bubba. Ron is here. Says, hello from England. Hello, mate. Great to have you with us, governor. I know, worst English accent ever. Although I used to love At the old job I had where I worked in the restaurant, used to get folks from England, and I always loved when they had a posh accent. I would do the Graham Chapman thing. Ew, on aeroplane. No more buttered scones for me, mate. I'm off to fly the aeroplane, and so on. Believe it or not, most people thought it was funny. Probably the irony of getting teased by an American for the way they talk. Ron, so glad you could make it. Welcome to the party. Tracy, do us a favor. Give us a link to Ron and the Entertainment Weekly's headquarters channels, and please give us a link to yours as well. By the way, I can't believe anybody here would not already be a member of your channel, but just in the unlikely event. And Rachel says, thanks, Tracy. She is now known as Natalia Sanchez. And in relation to Rick Sanchez, as in Rick and Morty. Oh, thank goodness. Gravy Indy is here. He says, my go-to English accent is Terry Thomas. Hard cheese, old boy. Terry Thomas, one of the funniest English people of all time. Yet, he actually did a horror anthology. I believe it was Vault of Horror, the one that also had Tom Baker as the artist who uses his paintings to get revenge. But yes, Terry Thomas was excellent, old boy. Loved him in It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. Get out of this machine. And let's see what we got going on here. Trey says, please hit the like, subscribe, comment, and enjoy on the way in. What she said. Tracy says, great. And Indy says, hey, K-Dub. Indy's dropping links. You are a link letter. I'll call you Art. Rachel says, Indy Wallace and Gromit like Wednesdaydale. Cracking good toast, Gromit. And Gary says Terry Thomas was in Monsters Go Home. He had a tagline in that, which when I was a kid, I was like little too. I think I was like 6 when I first saw it. It was a repeat then, but still. Because he plays a psychopath. It's like, I'll bash him over the head with something jagged. And for some reason, you could put something so hideous so nicely. I always saw it was so incredibly funny. It just struck a chord. And let's see, Rachel says Wallace and Gromit. Oh yeah, I already read that. And he says Vault of Horror is correct. He was also in the Dr. Phibes films. I haven't seen I own the Dr. Phibes films, but I haven't seen them in ever. In fact, a lot of people like to include the one he did with Diana Rigg, where he plays the actor who gets revenge through the Shakespeare films, which is funny because that has nothing to do with Dr. Phibes. But I guess they figure in the spirit of horror, early slasher films, and anything you want to include Diana Rigg in is okay in my book. Everybody say hi, Mrs. Thrash. Hi, Mrs. Thrash. Yes. We're having a little car trouble. My brother-in-law's over. I'm looking at a car which is not doing well. We've taken extraordinary measures to save the old girl. Things aren't going well. My brother-in-law thinks it's the spark plug. My brother-in-law is a car guru. Anything he says is okay with me. Also, buddy of mine who I've known for over 30 years. His wife was the one who told Mrs. Thrash to go out with me. So, yeah, I haven't forgiven her yet. Ha, ha, ha. Love you too, dear. But anyway, he's a master mechanic, and he's even thinking spark plugs as well. But it's a piece of crap car. But anyway, but my wife loves it, so we shall work on it with all diligence of due. Zubik says, excuses, 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 Godzilla. Why can't you cut the mustard? Because we use mustard powder. And he says to Rachel, I just watched Vengeance Most Foul a couple of days ago. Why is that not click? That's not that. What is the name of the Vincent Price movie I was just talking about with Diana Rigg? In fact, if I remember correctly, that's also his last wife, the one who they had that late. Well, I can't say May December because they were both December. They were both getting on in years. He had been widowed. They fell in love. Diana Rigg actually set them up, and he was with her until they weren't together anymore. A lot of people saying hello to Mrs. Thrash. Gary says, a car guru, or so you think. All right. Hey, think of it this way. I guarantee you he knows more about cars than I do. On a good day, I could put gas in them. And let's see what else. Oh, Keith E is here. Says happy birthday to Tracy. Trace. We have to say happy birthday or it'd be a disgrace. Cha. It was the best I can on such short notice. Rachel says, I thought they did a good job on that movie. I'm guessing we're still talking about the Vincent Price movie. I never saw The Avengers. The movie, not a fan. They tried really hard, but not a fan. Love the TV show, particularly, you might find this hard to believe, particularly the ones with Diana Rigg. Which, and I know you guys have heard the story 87,000 times, but here it is again. I found out later, I guess when my dad was younger, he was a huge Avengers fan and had a bizarre crush on Diana Rigg. So Diana Rigg became a generational crush in my family. And he says, I suspect you're thinking of Theater of Blood. Yes, thank you. It was going to be like the nail in the mind situation where you guys must have watched Married with Children at least at some point, and there's an episode where he hears the tail end of an old forgotten single from like the late 50s early 60s, and he can't remember the name of it, and he starts to go insane. And he calls radio stations and they don't know what he's talking about. None of his friends know what he's talking about, and they start to gaslight him. There was no such song, Al. But he starts to go absolutely crazy. One of the guys who wrote for the show actually did an interview on a podcast about it. He goes, that was me. When I got something stuck in my head, I couldn't enjoy life until I figured it out. And I'm like, preaching to the choir, pal. Preaching to the choir. Teresa says hi to Keith to the third power. That's very extensive. Diana Rigg was in Mrs. Eris Goes to Paris. How dareous. And oh, is Brendan hungry? Oh, we got all kinds of goodies. Brendan has some goodies. You're too thin. Yeah, thanks anyway. Guys, tell my brother-in-law he should eat. Anyway, they're not having a conference. The good kind of conference, the one that doesn't involve me. Let's see what else we get going on here. Indy says Vengeance Most Foul is a Wallace and Gromit. Oh, yes. Oh, I do remember. One of my old coworkers was a huge Wallace and Gromit fan. I have one of their DVDs, but yeah, I do recall. Thank you. Great title. And Christopher says, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tracy. I don't want to get a copyright strike, but we all know where that's going. We love you, Tracy. Oh, yes, we do. We don't love anyone, period. We're cynics. And Rachel says, Gary, what? You must have bad taste. Well, again, the movie, I don't the one with Uma Thurman. I did, yeah. I tried so hard to like that movie, but it was basically it looked like they were like making fun of the show the whole time, if you ask me. But that's just me. So, and Indy says to Gary, "We established you have terrible taste long ago, Gary. You don't need to keep proving it." Everybody, stop being so mean to Gary. We're all friends here. And Gary says, Rachel, I have perfectly good taste. I'm just not a fan. There you see. And Tracy is laughing hysterically, probably at something I said. And he says hello to Chris Wilkinson or Chris. Good to see you. And Rachel says, still talking about Wallace and Gromit Thrash. LOL. Well, as you know, I'm a huge animation buff, and he basically brought back stop motion animation. I even was it Chicken Run? When I was still worked at the video store, I believe Chicken Run, that's the one that's loosely based on The Great Escape. I thought that was great. And what was the movie? It was animated, not stop motion. It was animated. It's about the British pigeon service during World War II, and this is a true story. The Luftwaffe trained hawks to fly around the channel and take the royal pigeons out carrying vital messages. And but anyway, it was a good movie for a cartoon. But then it goes, so was Flying Sea Eagles, although that was the other side. And Rachel says, oh, still talking Wallace and Gromit. And Gary says the Avengers movie was fair. It's Wallace and Gromit. Makes me want to. Oh, Gromit makes you want to vomit. Huh? Well, it's still a free country. Ron says Shaun the sheep. I keep going back to Shaun of the Dead for some reason. I'm sure that's a reference possibly to Wallace and Gromit. Ron, forgive me for not catching it. I was watching a stand-up comedian today doing a thing. That's the thing about going on the internet. Everything is a reference to everything else, and if you don't catch the reference, you look like a square. So I'm just gonna go with Shaun of the Dead and call it a day. But anyway, if you want to elaborate, Ron, please do because I've made a complete jackass out of myself. Gary says I've got Chicken Run on video. It's fair. Well, and Tracy says, "Who is the little guy with the cell phone in his hand?" Thrash. Funny, you should ask. This is actually this is actually a rendition of Walter White. It was given to me as a present by Mrs. Thrash. It's actually a kit with a bunch of little. Oh, okay, with a bunch of little uh Breaking Bad miniatures. They all look like Weebles, except they don't wobble, but they will fall down. This is Jesse, and this is Malibu Walter White, and what happened? We get some more, and this is Jesse making meth. Give me Liberty or give me meth, and they have little adventures. I only had room for one. So I went with Walter, and this is from early on where he is in the desert trying to call for help with a cell phone and loses his pants. Great story, but you have to watch Breaking Bad to get it, and I hope that answers your question with certain alacrity. Rachel says, "I love Aardman." Um, how can you not love an Aardman? And India says to Gary, "You hate Wallace and Gromit, but you love the good, awful Avengers movie." Okay, now, guys, everyone. oh, one second. Uncle, hey, thanks a lot. By the way, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay, take care of yourself. You as well. Take care. Apparently, he's not having a late dinner, but hey, we tried, didn't we, gang? But I want to say thank you. He was again tinkering with the car. He thinks it's the spark plugs, which is what Mike, the car guru I was talking about before, said. I don't know if I ever finished that sentence. I think I went off. It's been a crazy weekend, guys, by the way. And it's funny because I got this new job where I work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, which I'm not used to. I usually work nights and have periodic days off and have to work weekends. I'm actually working 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. And it's amazing all the things you could only do Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. So I'm scrambling on weekends to see what I can get out of the way and still have to dump a bunch of stuff in Mama Thrash and Mrs. Thrash's lap. Love them both differently. And Indy says chicken run, poultry in motion. Poultry in motion, backfield in motion. Think I'm gonna penalize you. And Keithy says, "Hello, Gary. Good to see you." And Gary says, "Indy, you just laid an egg the size of Vermont." Well, fortunately, Vermont is one of our smallest states. It's bigger than Mass, though. It's one hell of a mass, you could say. And Tree says, "That is hilarious." And Ron says, "Close shave, walls, and grommet to Sean the sheep." Ah, the character Sean the sheep. Oh, okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. But then Sean went on to have his own TV series, very funny. I don't think I remember Sean the sheep series, but I at least know what you're talking about. And Rachel says, "Indy, I have to admit that Netflix did Chicken Run dirty with that sequel. Never saw the sequel. Sounds like it's just as well. What movie was that based on? Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence." Oh my God, John is here. John is here. He says, "Everyone can relax now. I'm here. Hi, Bob." John, so great to see you. I was just thinking about you. Remember we were talking about that comedian. I was watching this thing on YouTube about some of the best recent comedians, and his name is Blue. And like, is it John Blue? George Blue? But the guy, he's hysterical, and you got to see him in Florida a couple years ago, and that was great. Michael's Drones is here. Well, Michael's Drones are season 9's here. Says hello, Thresh Bondo. Michael, so good to see you, my brother. Welcome to the party. Glad you could make it. And Gary says, "Look what the cat dragged in, Johnsy." Must have been an awfully big cat. And Zublik, blah, 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 "I've come to suck your blood, blah, blah." Zublix is here and he says, he is probably wondering what the heck you're talking about. Everyone's wondering what the heck I'm talking about. When I start making sense, that's when you really got to worry. But thank you. Zub. Good to see you again, by the way. And don't, I'm going through my comics. I'm going to find a comic to do a wretched recap on probably before the July weekend. And that's actually an update I want to talk about. But we'll talk. And John, Zubik says hello to John. Keithy says, "Remember to like and subscribe," what he said. Michael says, "Just a reminder, everyone in the chat, please don't forget to smash the like button for our awesome host, Thrash Pondo. Thumbs up, hammer. Thank you. And you're very welcome. Thank you. And also, Tracy, Miss Turnblatt, do me a favor. Please give a link to Michael's Drones as well. I can't imagine anybody in his chat hasn't already taken the opportunity, but just in case. And Gary says, "T is tongue-tied tonight." Say that 5 times fast. And Indy says, "Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget was a rescue caper. It borrowed from a lot." Oh, I can see it. I'm trying to think of a rescue. I can think of something like a rescue caper. And Michael says, "Thank you, Thrash Pondo, for the shout out, my friend." Well, thank you very, very, very much. Love the stuff you put out, by the way. I still haven't got around to getting that drone that I've been talking about for like a year. It's a 3-letter abbreviation. It's the best drone company on the planet. If you know what I'm talking about and you agree they're the ones to go with, please let me know, Mike, in the comments below what type of drone I should go with. To be honest, around here in Cape Cod, a lot of people are selling their properties. They're using drones to take aerial photography for things like Zillow and other things, so people can get a nice view of what the house looks like from space to get the true curb appeal, you might say. And Indy says, DJI, that sounds right. No kill I. But I'm going to jot DJI down just because you know what I do? You guys give me great recommendations in the comments, and I forget what you tell me, and I forget at what part we had the conversation. And then I have to go through an hour and a half of footage to find when I was blabbing about something and asking a question you guys answer. So I'm actually going to start writing stuff down like I did for Teb when he asked me to do trivia for him. I'm going to start doing that. JI. Hi. Ah, you're a DJI Mavic Mini. Mavic Mini. Mavic Mini. It sounds like an album by Culture Club. And Kevin Scott is here. Speaking of music, Kevin Scott is here. Says, "Hey, Thrash just got out of band rehearsal. They've been running you ragged. You have a couple of bands going now, don't you?" And or I just keep getting the name mixed up. And Gary says, "You do know that Godzilla is 70 years old, and that's in lizard age. He's actually about 250 million years old because remember, he was a hibernating dinosaur." But your point is made, Gary. Yes, he's very old, but he's still holding up well. Yes, and Walter White is also getting old, but he's saying holding up very well. Brian Cranston though still stays young. And he says, "Yeah, I have a tough time looking at you for an hour and a half too, Bob." I tell you, I got a great face for radio. And Trey says, "Love the Zilla. How could you not love little Zilly Willy? Little Zilly Willy won't go home, but you can't fool Zilla now. Zilla won't go." I'm going to get another copyright strike, or at least knock everything over. But yeah, good. Oh, speak of the devil, Teb, we were literally, guys, backing up here. We were literally just talking about you, Teb. How you doing? Hi, Thrash. Haven't, just hasn't been kind to music legends. Oh, June hasn't been kind to music legends. June, you're young and alive. I'm sorry, it's the best I can do with short notice. No, it is not. It is not, and I'm very, very sorry. But it's great to see you here tonight. And a lot of people having fellowship. Keithy just says, "How many years is that in Lauren Green years?" About 15. And I think I'm caught up. Oh, Snarky got here. Snarkin says is here, and she says, "Sunglasses. I wear my sunglasses at night. You don't know why? It's so I can watch you live and leave your storyline. Watch you live and weave your storylines. Either that or keep visions in my mind. Because she's deceiving me." Gary says, "Today is the anniversary of Jane Mansfield's car accident." Yes, I know. They've been talking to Mariska Hargitay extensively about that. Do you know? I never knew this. She was like a toddler when this whole thing happened. After the accident, apparently she was riding in the front seat, but Jane was arguing with somebody else in the front seat. My guess it was Anton LaVey. Not to cast aspersions on such a nice man, but anyway, so she had put little Mariska in the back seat with the brother. When the accident happened, which probably saved her life, but when the accident happened, little Mariska went under. She got wedged in the foot space under the front seat. And when they examined the car, they didn't see her right away. I don't know if she'd been knocked unconscious or just traumatized because of anything, but they actually had to go back for her when they realized that, hey, where's the kid? Jay Mansfield had 2 children in the car. But it's such a tragic story. And Snarkset says, "Busy hands listening. More than understand." In other words, you probably won't be giving us a lot of comments. More than understand. It's great to have you with us in any capacity, by the way. Oh, and by the way, I guess I don't know if I was hoping Sarah could make it tonight. I guess she hasn't been feeling too well. If you talk to her, please tell her that we're all asking about her. We all hope she feels better, and to not be such a stranger. Hopefully, we'll have a show Thursday. But again, my flock isn't feeling too well, so I want her to bounce back before I start making commitments of her. And Gary says she and her siblings were in the back seat, and they were asleep. Yeah, but it was fortunate because originally she'd been sitting up front with her mother, but her mother had put her in the back seat, and then again she fell asleep. Now, help me out. Was it a boy and a girl, or was it 2 girls and a boy? I can never keep that straight. I know she had at least a brother, but there may have been 3 kids. I want to say 2, but again. Ron says no seat belts back in the day. No, seatbelts were installed. In fact, if I remember correctly, in the opening segment of A Boy and His Dog, Blood tells a suggestive limerick. A cautious young fellow named Lodge had seatbelts installed in his Dodge. When his date was strapped in, he committed a sin without even leaving the garage. Nothing. I think I missed somebody there, so I'm going to go through. Oh, a lot of people saying they love Snarky. Yes, we all do. And Gary says, Ron, that bar on the trucks are named after her. Oh, yes, yes, I had heard that. I had heard that somewhere. Yeah, because they hit the back of a truck, and oh dear. Oh, hold on a sec. Relative humidity is 110 here on Cape Cod. I actually had to turn the AC back on this morning. It was actually cool yesterday, but it's heating up again, and I'm sweating to death. Key says my father has seatbelts put in our 1963 Comet station wagon. All right, you want to hear scary things people did in station wagons back in my day? And no, get your minds out of the gutter. No, my folks had this little blue Toyota. I want to say Toyota station wagon. Really, really cute. Nice, that nice little bay area in the back. My dad went out and he bought nice, thick, soft carpeting. He carpeted the back of it. And when we went on road trips, he just stuck me in the back with my pillow and my Winnie the Pooh, and I would sleep in the back um, for the whole trip. That would be such a no-no today, but it was considered such a nice thing to do back then. Do you guys remember? You remember if whatever kid in the neighborhood had a station wagon, you go to the movies or something, and you could fit like 17 kids in a station wagon. You know, you'd like have like five in the back seat, sitting like in a wave motion. You'd stuff the kids in the back, like two rows. Good times, good times. When I was a hod carrier for a contractor, when I was going to school and during summers, and I needed to earn some quick dough, we just all rode in the back of the pickup truck or 2.5 ton dump or whatever they were driving that day. Chris says, "Gotta go, Bob. We are expecting company." Chris, enjoy your company. Tell your dad thank you for his service. Again, love the photos. Have a great 4th of July, my brother. Tracy says, "Come to Florida, you'd think that you were in a sweat room." I've been, and you know what? I'm still sorry I didn't buy my grandmother's house in Inglewood when I had the chance. But learn and live. Ron says, "My first 3 cars didn't have seat belts, and then the fourth had static belts. The fifth one had all threat, had inertia, real belts, as do all cars." Now, gotcha. A lot of people saying goodbye to Christopher. Gary says, "T, we had one, and my uncle told my mom that it was a hearse." Well, mine could have been, but it was different times. Auto safety didn't really register like it does today. Yeah. And John says, "Bob, I believe you're talking about Josh Blue." Yes. I said John, I meant Josh Blue. Yes, Josh Blue. He's hilarious. We actually hired him to perform at a gala we held 3 years ago. Oh, so it was actually a command performance. That's awesome. For nonprofit for which I'm the board president of CILNF and WF. That is awesome sauce. Wow, wow, and I'm really glad he's amazing. This guy, please forgive me. I don't know if this is wrong for me to tell this joke, but anyway, for those of you who don't know, Josh Blue he is a stand-up comedian who has cerebral palsy, and his delivery is still amazing. His timing is really, really good. Sometimes you have to kind of listen into what he's saying, but the funny thing is, one hand is perfectly normal. The other hand is very, I don't know, he has issues with it. But anyway, he tells the story of when he played on the handicapped American soccer team, and he told the story when he was going on an away game, and they were all coming off the plane, and of course they all had palsies. He goes, "People thought it was a zombie apocalypse," and I couldn't breathe. I was laughing so hard, and I'm like, I hope it's okay for me to laugh at that, but it was the funniest thing I had ever heard. He also did a bit about this is awful, and I would never do this. When I was in hospitality, he always told a bit about how he went to a restaurant and he was on a date, and the date would order, and then the server would look at the date and say, "And what will he be having?" And Josh is like, "I'm perfectly capable of ordering for myself." But then it goes, "I'm guessing a talk with your manager." Yeah, take that. Tab says, "Thank goodness I wore a seatbelt." I am guessing there was a case where the seatbelt was needed. I'm a seatbelt fanatic. I didn't used to be when I was young and stupid, but now that I'm old and moronic, I do. Not sure what the message there was. Rachel says, "If he didn't want you to laugh, he wouldn't tell you the joke." I know, but you still feel guilty about laughing. It's weird. It's like, I know he told the joke, but you know, I feel guilt about everything. You guys know that. I was raised with guilt. I lived in a codependent family. I feel guilt for things I had no control over. And a lot of things I did. But in any case, yeah, guilt is just my family worked in guilt where the life on earth works in oxygen. And Kevin says, even in 1984, I didn't wear the seat belt so I would look cool. I know. I know that's when I started smoking. And he says the problem with Josh Blue playing soccer is that he always went to his right. I know I wasn't supposed to laugh at that either. And Rachel says, I have Jewish guilt. Blah, blah, blah. So what do you want? We should talk about Jewish guilt. And Tracy says, tell me about guilt. Oh, geweld? You want to talk about guilt? You want to talk about guilt? You got guilt? Yeah. Yeah. Tracy, me too. And I'm actually caught up again. It's only 7th. It's a little early to start the trivia. I may not wait until 8 o'clock, but I want to give it a little time before I start the trivia, just in case more people show up. Although you can't tell by these counters. Although I'm certain a lot of people bopped in and bop out. Evening boppers. And Gary's speaking us in emojis. I'm never sure what emojis mean, by the way. I mean, I can usually extrapolate. Like the bright-eyed one is probably find something cool, and the little one with the surgical mask on his forehead is probably believe COVID is over. Is it? Is it over? Yeah, someone referred to this as the coast. From coast to coast, I'm the host with the most. The post COVID world. And I'm like, post COVID? Ron says you got stopped by the police and fined and points on your license for not wearing seatbelts in England. I always wear mine. That was, but that was a thing in Massachusetts about, I don't know, about 20 so years ago. They passed the seatbelt law. In fact, this is a true story. I once got pulled over for not wearing my seatbelt, and I had it on. Couple of license and registration. I'm like, yeah, sure. He goes, why weren't you wearing your seatbelt? I'm like, I am wearing my seatbelt. Oh, sorry. Get down, you're not wearing the seatbelt. Because I'm not going to argue with a state trooper ever. Oh, speaking, I just thought of this the other day, by the way. Years ago, I lost my license. I think I was at a party and I dropped it. No big deal. There wasn't much money. I never had money when I was in college, but lost my ID, so I had to go to the RMV to get a replacement. And at the time, the RMV was being really, really, really tough on replacing IDs because back then you would just lose your ID, lose it, give it to a friend of yours who wasn't 21, and then get a duplicate for yourself. So they were making it difficult to get duplicate ID. I would never dream of doing that. And who looks like me? But anyway, they were making me jump through hoops, and for some reason, I didn't have the right documentation or something wasn't signed right, so I had to wait for the state trooper to sign off on it. And I'm in the RMV, and I am standing in front of the state trooper who was on duty, his office, and he's making a point of having me wait because, well, he's got the cookie, as my old friend would say. And I'm waiting patiently, but my allergies were going through the ceiling. I'm about to do it now because I'm speaking about it, and I involuntarily I went to clear my throat. And I will always remember the face the officer made. He went like he couldn't believe. He's like, "I'll be right with you." And I didn't even realize because me, it was just involuntary. I'd been coughing like all day, and I went, "Oh no, 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 not you, not you, allergies." I'm like throat. No, I was not. And go to my Woody Allen routine, and then he cracks up, and it was all fun and games. But for a second, I thought he was going to pistol whip me. But true story. Now, where was yes, England. This is England. And oh, Tracy says Emily's here. Yay, Emily! I may have skipped you, but so glad you are here, Emily. Um, thank you for lurking with us. Gary says no, it's no, it's still here. COVID, yeah. Zublik says, "What's the trivia about this time, T Pawns?" It's actually about 17th century mathematicians. Specifically, half the test is going to be on the theoretic science fiction novel Flatland. And oh, I'm kidding, by the way, 60s movies. And Indy says, pro tip, never ask a cop if they've caught any murderers lately. 10 out of 10 for style. John says, he is hilarious. Of course, he does humor about his disability. However, I enjoy his comedy about life in general. Yes, it's not all about his disability, not just about his disability. Josh would say his hand would make him uh, a palsy god. I love it. I love it. Entry says she's not here. Oh, I thought I saw somebody talking to her. So, oh, wishful thinking. I get it. I see what you were doing, Bubba. I was seeing if she was lurking. Ah, brilliant stratagem. And Kevin says, I got stopped for parking off the road. I had an open beer can. Oh, naughty, naughty, no biscotti. But since I told them I didn't want to text and drive, he said the two cancel each other out, and I didn't get a ticket. Well played. Well played. Oh, Chance is here. Chance, hello, Chance. So good to see you. He says, "Hey, everybody." Zublik says, "Let's talk about Hibbert space." Let's not say we did. Ooh. And he says Flatland came out in 1884. Now strap up. Oh no, I said my talk was going to be on 17th century. But then I said, but then half the questions were on Flatland. So it was two-part. 17th century mathematicians and the novel Flatland. But you're right. I didn't know exactly when it came out. That sounds right. But yeah, I was just talking about that today, by the way. What did you think of it? It was good, but it gave me a headache. There's a lot of math in it, by the way. But it's a good story. And let people say hi to Pod Blast. Oh, by the way, speaking of Tracy, please drop a link for Chance. And Tips says, Thresh, would you please consider doing a Beach Boys themed trivia in memory of Brian Wilson in the near future? I'm going to write that down. Yeah, Tim, I was just talking about that. People give me these great ideas, and I'll say yes, and then I don't drop them down, and then I forget what I was talking about, and then I forget, well, you see where this is going. So, yes, Beach Boys trivia. Yes, I will. I will do that with all speed. That'd be a great theme for 4th of July because that's such a beach holiday. If you have beach in your area. Son of a beach. And Ron says, if the cops ask, do you know why I stopped you? Don't guess. Just say, no, officer. Please tell me. Oh yeah, oh yeah. No, I learned that the hard way. When as much about don't be glib, don't play games, don't try to outsmart them, don't even act too conciliatory or helpful. Just be polite and answer them. They don't. If they think you're playing games, they will play games with you, and they're going to win. I guarantee you. And never, ever, ever mouth off to them. That's another little thing I learned the hard way. Gary says, and Dukes of Hazard trivia. Yes, okay. Gary, Dukes of Hazard trivia it is. Dukesies of Hazardy. Half the question is going to be about Catherine Bach, I promise you. It's the Catherine Bach Show. And let's just see what else we got going on here. Thank you, Tracy, for the link. And Zuplex, I tried baseball trivia once. The questions sucked, and you were even there that night. You're the only sports fan on the channel. I tell you what, I'll work in a bonus baseball question for you. Is that fair? And he says, I found Flatland rather two-dimensional. I threw myself into that one screaming. Yeah, left me flat. But you see where why do I keep getting a signal on my computer? I guess Big Brother's watching me, which I actually have on that little contraption I have over there. A postcard that says Big Brother's watching you. Hey, you guys want the trivia now? Oh, hang on. Chan says, thank you, Thrash Pondo and Tracy. You're very welcome. And Gary says, Indy, are you sure it's not that flat? There's no wrong answers. So anyway, shall we do the trivia? Yeah, Thrash, do the trivia. You show me to the trivia. Yes, please do the trivia. Fine, if you guys beg me. And Indy says, I've been on a national sports trivia championship team 7 times, Bob. I'm a sports guy too. Is there nothing you cannot do? No, actually, yes. There was one trivia topic where you're like, I think it was Three's Company, but it's like the only thing. It's like the old line from Taxi, where Victor Bruno is the father, and he asks Jeeves, what's for dinner tonight? And Jeeves says, everything except green beans. Like that covers like everything. And then he goes, oh, well, Mr. Riga, if you like green beans, I can send Jeeves back. So, all right, so we have two sports, two batty batters. And Tracy says, message retracted to you too. John says, my last comment about Josh is hilarious. However, he did a 30-minute set and his fee was $12,000. It was kind of worth it. $12,000 for nonprofit? That's a little steep. But again, it's his livelihood, so I guess he had to get paid something. And Chance asks for, oh, yeah, you got a chance. Thank you. Gary says, go for it. And he says, I liked your Red Sox questions. They were fun. Thank you. I'm glad somebody did. Yes, it was on the Boston Red Sox. And Zipling says, he pays rent too. Well, who doesn't? I just got $12,000 for a 30-minute set. That's $24,000 an hour. Nothing wrong with my math. Tracy says, I love the Red Sox. And you're not even a New Englander. Thank you. I appreciate that. But anyway, you know what? Adam Sandler does too. Maybe it's a Jewish thing. And I wish they had got him for Fever Pitch because he at least was a Red Sox fan. I think he wanted too much money. And then he says, you've had a few games I was worthless on, Bob. I only remember one, and like I said, I think it was the Three's Company. And Tracy says, I hate the Yankees. Ooh, preaching to the choir. It was getting out of hand here. And I'm not bragging about this. I was ashamed about this. There was a case a couple years ago. It was Cape Cod. It was 4th of July weekend. We had bumper-to-bumper traffic, so cars weren't moving. I used to say Route 28 is a parking lot. And this poor guy from New York was in a car with his family. but he had New York plates. And this local yokel saw him and started howling insults, and then goes back and forth. And this kid goes in his house, gets a bat, and starts wailing on this poor New Yorker's car. I'm like, because you don't like the Yankees? Excessive, pal. Excessive. New Yorkers come to Cape Cod and dump their money. You should be a little more conciliatory. And Gary Carmen says, not a sports fan. Zublik says, yeah, but how many times a year he performs? Valid point. Valid point. Um, if he performed 4 times, though, he'd be making more money than I do. So, but I see your point. I see your point. That seems like a really good salary. Uh, and of course, comedians spend a lot of time coming up with new material and sets. For every half hour, they probably spend weeks, writing. But anyway, without further ado, and as always, the tonight's trivia is going to be in no particular order. Number 10. What film was Mel Brooks' film debut? And again, this is a hit movies of the 60s. What film was Mel Brooks' film debut? Was it A, The Producers, B, The 12 Chairs, C, Blazing Saddles, or D, Young Frankenstein? Do the math and you can pretty much cut that one down to a 50-50 guess. I shall repeat. Which film was Mel Brooks' directorial debut? Was it A, The Producers, B, The 12 Chairs, C, Blazing Saddles, or D, The Producers? Keithy says, one of my teachers at Bryant University had a license plate from Connecticut that was Yankee. He said he got the finger all the time. In Massachusetts, I'm sure he did. Mean. Zubik says, you make less than $48,000 a year? Well, not with our combined incomes, but actually, give me a second, because I have to figure out with a new job. Before commissions, yeah. And hang on, is that right? Now you get me wondering. No, I'm sorry. Just over. I make just over that. So, but not much just over. If you do 4.1 times, actually, no. You got me doing math now. 4.4. I make like $52,000 a year. I make $1,000 a week before commissions. Happy now. Yeah. You want my social security number while we're at it? Oh, look, people are giving answers. Oh, Brogo's here. Says, hey, Thresh. A lot of good guesses here. And again, a lot of people split the difference because they knew 2 of those were from the 70s. And he says Mel Brooks made a short film in the 60s also. The title escapes me. Feature film. Feature film. And it wasn't the 10,000-year-old man, was it? I thought that was like a 70s special. But in any event, it was The Producers, A. 9. Who backs, speaking of something we are just talking about, who backs, I'll come in again. It's a little more less cumbersome. What is the name of the backup band for Annette Funicello's Monkey's Uncle? Is it A, Herman's Hermits, B, the Beatles, C, the Beach Boys, or D, Jerry and the Pacemakers? And yes, sometimes I jot these down. I was behind the 8 ball today. So as I read the question, it's not really worded correctly. So sometimes I'll alter it on the fly. And he says, I'll look it up at the break, Bob. That's it. I knew you were State Department. Knock, knock. Who's there? Homeland Security. Homeland Security. Stop resisting. Kevin says, the monkey's grandpa. I shall repeat. What band backed up Annette Funicello on A Monkey's Uncle? I'm definitely trying to remember which beach movie that was. Was that the one with Lorelai? The one where Marta Christensen plays the mermaid. All the beach movies blend together into one great big beach movie, even the ones with Tommy Kirk, which would make things really awkward for Frankie Avalon. But anyway, Herman's Hermits, A. B. The Beatles. C. The Beach Boys. D. Jerry and the Pacemakers. The book says Monkey's Uncle was the special to. I'm sorry, Monkey's Uncle was the sequel to The Absent Minded Professor. It was? It was? I thought it was in a beach movie. Van Halen. I'm not sure they were born yet, to be honest with you. Well, some of them might have been. But the book says nope. And oh, because remember, Annette Funicello always did a number or two there. Nickelodeon tried to do a modern beach movie about 15 years ago, I want to say. Yeah, because number one granddaughter was like little at the time. And it was pretty slick. They captured a lot of the feel to it. Got a few things wrong because they felt the need to modernize. But one of the things they got wrong was the music wasn't right. It was more like 50s music as opposed to 60s. I think just because the makers of the film like 50s music better. But and he says Son of Flubber was the sequel. I believe I'm again Annette Funicello. All I ever can remember her in is beach movies. And Gary says I thought it was the flying car. Well, that was in the episode My Professor. And then he says the monkey's uncle was the sequel to The Misadventures of Merlin Jones. Another country heard from. And Teb says Disney Channel, not Nickelodeon. Thank you, Teb. Yes, you are absolutely correctly. It was Disney Channel because it was oh, that Moon Kid. What was his name? The one he actually I guess he did a movie about Jeffrey Dahmer. And it was amazing because he really looked like Jeffrey Dahmer, but there was some problem with the release or something. But yeah, Disney Channel. And it was called Back to the Beach or Beach to the Back or Life is a Beach. But anyway, yeah, thank you, Teb. And Gary says Tommy Kirk was supposed to be in The Sons of Katie Elder, but was let go. There was some scandal, and I think I know what it involved. And Rachel says, yes, it was Disney, Everton. Thank you. And John says, Bob, could I sit close to the microphone? If I sit any closer, I'll be in front of it. But yes, Zach Efron. I thought that's what you meant, but I was going to gainsay you. Teen Beach Movie. Yes, Teen Beach Movie. There was even a sequel to it, too, as well, by the way. Zublik says he was caught smoking marijuana. There was another scandal as well, but I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, the correct answer is the Beach Boys. The Beach Boys sang backup and perform instruments as the backup band in Monkey's. I'm Monkey's Uncle. And okay, number 8. Sidney Poitier won the Oscar for which flick? Was it A, Raisin in the Sun, B, In the Heat of the Night, C, The Defiant Ones, or D, Lilies of the Field? Oh, Indy came to play. I shall repeat. Sidney Poitier won the Oscar for what flick? Was it A, Raisin in the Sun? Let me go on like a raisin in the sun. Remember when they had that song in a Wendy's ad? And I'm like, do people not realize what that song is about? Anyway, B, In the Heat of the Night, C, The Defiant Ones, or D, Lilies of the Field. So Luke says, you are referring to his in a way, supposedly he was involved with someone who, and I'm trying to think how to say this tastefully, was not of consenting age. and the studios dropped him like he was a chunk of plutonium at that point. You see, Zoop, you got it out of me. But no, it was not just because of his alternate lifestyle. It was mm. Look who's here. Big Guys 45. He says might go out for dinner. Big Guys 45. I hope you enjoy your dinner. Um, Wendy's is nice, but I'd shoot for something a little higher. Cool trivia question. Thank you so much. Emily is here. Says I just got here and you started early. Oh, miss, I'm so sorry. Well, first of all, you'd still be late. But second of all, yeah, I put that in the post. I'm starting at 7 now. Since I have to work Monday mornings, I kind of have to wrap up things earlier than normal. I'm still getting used to this new schedule, guys. But anyway, you could still play the last 7 questions, but I'm so glad you were here. And Gary said he should have gotten it for Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. More about that later. And he says, I always try to talk about Dahmer's victims tastefully. I'm gonna tell Mrs. Thresh. Mrs. Thresh, you know that SNL bit they did a while ago about how women love specials about serial killers? She is obsessed with shows about serial killers, so I'm gonna tell her that one. Dahmer wasn't one of her favorites, but I'm gonna tell her that one. But the correct answer is Lilies of the Field. Ja, ist ein Lilies of the Field. Yes, he was the first black actor to win an Academy Award for Best Picture, and it was Lilies of the Field. Best actor. It was Lilies of the Field. But anyway, and again, thank you for joining us. Emily, now, number 7. Mhm. Spencer Tracy passed on only days after completing what film? Was it A, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with Sidney Poitier? B, It's a Mad, 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 Mad World? C, Judgment at Nuremberg? Or D, Inherit the Wind? Skulls is right. Repeat. Spencer Tracy passed away only days after completing what flick? Was it A, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? B, It's a Mad, 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 Mad World? C, Judgment at Nuremberg? Or D, Inherit the Wind? Hey, because that's what I said. Yeah, I'm going to wait. I mean, I'm sure more guesses are going to come in, but yeah, you guys got this. It was A, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, for those of you who were paying attention to the question I was speaking about only moments before. But yeah, apparently he never even had a chance to see it theatrically. But I had heard somewhere, because everybody thought that he had been so proud to have made that film. Apparently, he wasn't not proud to have made it, but he didn't consider it a particularly good or important film. Go fig. But I remember I actually refer to that as actually one of the inspirations of Not a Living Dead. Not because the zombies have to guess who they're having for dinner, but just because I honest to God, even though George Romero still swears on a stack of Bibles, or did up until the day he died, his decision to cast a black actor as Ben had nothing to do with racial relations in the country at the time. And I'm like, Sidney Poitier had just become this big breakthrough actor. And so it's like, guess who's coming to dinner? The whole Ben and Judith O'Day dynamic, Barbara dynamic in The Living Dead. You can kind of connect the dots. Dwayne. Oh, I'm drawing a blank, but the guy who played Ben, he died tragically like 40 years ago too, a stroke. Anyway, one more, and hang on. Brogan says, "Guess who's coming to dinner?" Sydney gave him a stroke. Emily says, "I don't even know Spencer Tracy, so you're doing better than me." Really? You never seen Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? Gary Cameron says, Catherine Hepburn never went to the graveside vigil. Oh, I know. Emily says, I mean, I know the name, but I couldn't name him by face. I gotcha. So Luke says, I was a feel. It was a feel good movie insofar as race relations were concerned. You know who has a brief part in it? Um, Harrison Ford. He plays the hot rodder who actually bumps into him, which is funny because he plays a hot rodder later on in American Graffiti. Remember, there ain't no law of graffiti. Bob John says, Bob, where is your new job? I'm working in the sales department of a local waste disposal company. And they're very busy right now because a lot of people come down to the Cape Cod for the summer and have to set up temporary seasonal accounts. And Gary says, he was a big star and he was with Katharine Hepburn for a long while, even though he was married. Yeah, he was like excommunicated, I guess. Dwayne Jones. Thank you, Dwayne Jones. I knew it was Dwayne something or other, but I couldn't place the last name Dwayne Jones. Thank you. And Zublik says he works for the mob, John. I have that line in Back to School that came jumping into my head. And Emily says, Gary, to be fair, it was Katharine Hepburn. Yes, it was. And Indy says, Tom Heaton played the hot rodder in that. I'm sure you're right, but I know Harrison Ford was in it somewhere. I might just be misremembering what character he played. I might be confusing him with the part he played in American Graffiti. But Harrison Ford does have a small part in the movie. And now, I can already hear you going on IMDb, Indy. And number 6, and then we'll get scores. Which of these films is not a 60s Godzilla flick? Is it A, Godzilla versus the Sea Monster, or Ebirah, if you prefer? B, Destroy All Monsters, C, Godzilla versus Mothra, or D, Godzilla versus Megalon? Emily says, Zuper, maybe Bob can get me a job. I'd be happy to, miss. Gary says she made 6 movies together. They made 6 movies together? I did not realize that. And he says Harrison Ford was not in it. Must be. Clearly, I'm thinking about another movie. I defer. Brookie says Harrison Ford is everywhere. And Emily says, I love Katharine Hepburn, but her movies just weren't my genre. Not even Bringing Up Baby. In any event, I shall repeat the question. Which of these flicks is not a 60s Godzilla flick? Is it Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster? B, Destroy All Monsters? C, Mothra vs. Godzilla, if you prefer? Or D, Godzilla vs. Megalon? And Emily says the only thing I know about Godzilla was he was a big lizard with legs. You know what you call lizard with no legs? A snake. And John says, Bob, did Katharine Hepburn have the same physical challenge as RFK Jr.? Did she? I don't know. The short answer is I don't know. And Keith says Thrash finally got a job or he can talk trash. Let's certainly hope I can talk trash. Trash for thrash. Thrash. Oh, and they actually say at some point they're going to send me out with the drivers because that's actually part of the pitch. And that sounds fun, to be honest with you. Although it's 110 degrees in the shade here, but it still sounds fun. Anyway, the correct answer is yes, a Godzilla versus Megalon that came out in the 70s. I remember there was a big brouhaha here. It was released I want to say around the bicentennial, and they made a big deal about having it on television. But hey, let's get some scores. Zuplex says garbage work. Oh, Zuplex is 4 to 5. Excellent. Zuplex says a guy in a rubber suit. No, that's hazmat. Indy says Hepburn and RFK have different neurological conditions with similar effects. Oh, thank you. Tracy is 4 to 5. Teb is 4 to 5. Rachel is 1 out of 5. Not my night. It's okay. You'll rally in the second half. Brogu is 4 out of 5. Gary says Martin Short does a great Katharine Hepburn and Betty Davis. One of the funniest stories Martin Short ever told was he was on I think it was the Tonight Show, and Betty Davis was there, and she was being very very prim, and he goes into his Jerry Lewis impression and calls Betty Davis, and then starts doing his Betty and Betty. I guess Betty Davis was like, but it was just such a great story. Martin Short is amazing, and yes, he does an amazing Katharine Hepburn and Betty Davis impression. I can't do a Betty Davis impression. I could try. What a dump. Um, Andy says so far so good. I interpret that as good. Emily was 2 out of 5 because I'm cheating off everyone else's papers. Well, that's okay. You're 2 for 2 because you came in a little bit late. Gary is 4 for 5, and Kevin Scott is 1 for 5, and Keithy is 1 for 5. You guys are all going to rally in the second. I can feel it. And speaking of part 2, here we proverbially go. If you guys are a fan of Dave Sundstrom, you should get this one. Who played Catwoman in the 1966 Batman movie? Was it A, Elizabeth Montgomery, B, Julie Newmar, C, Lee Merriweather, or D, Eartha Kitt? I shall repeat. Who played Catwoman in the 1966 Batman movie? Not the TV show, the movie. Is it A, Elizabeth Montgomery, B, Julie Newmar, C, Lee Merriweather, or D, Eartha Kitt? Gonna be some very disappointed people. Indy, you might have to back me up here. Oh no. Where's Dave when I need him? Brogu, I'm gonna permit it. Everyone gets one mulligan. You get that's your mulligan. Mulligans. You guys remember the show Mulligan Stew? It was like a sketch comedy show for kids in the 70s. I remember it was on while I was at school when I was a kid, but if I get to stay home sick, I get to watch it. And that is, as they say, that. Any other guesses? Because the correct answer is Lee Merriweather. But there were some people out there who said Eartha Kitt. I went, oh no, but yeah, but no, it's Lee Merriweather. Eartha Kitt is my favorite. I'm guessing a lot of people's favorite as well, but it was Lee Merriweather. Number 4. Which Beatles album was not the name of a motion picture? Was it A, Hard Day's Night, B, Rubber Soul, C, Help, or D, Let It Be? Live and Let Be. Dun, 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 dun. No, that's it. I shall repeat. Which Beatles album was not the name of a motion picture? Was it A, Hard Day's Night, B, Rubber Soul, C, Help, or D, Let It Be? Let it be. Why did I start singing that? Anyway, that wasn't a hint. I just happened to have that song stuck in my head. And it doesn't really matter because it seems like you guys all got it. Yes, the correct answer is B, Rubber Soul. But when I read the question, the first, I was like, but yeah, no, B, Rubber Soul. 3. This legendary actor played the part of Dr. Zaius in the Planet of the Apes franchise. Is it A, James Whitmore, B, Maurice Evans, C, Roddy McDowell, or D, James Daly? I shall repeat. Oh, Gary Carpenter says the Yellow Submarine is my favorite. Well, yeah, you guys know that. A local TV station here in the Boston area on Thanksgiving night would show a double feature of Help and Yellow Submarine. Of course, I love cartoons when I was a kid. So a tradition I had for years, probably till I was in college, after Thanksgiving, the family kids, me, my cousins, whomever, we'd all go to the family room and watch Yellow Submarine or I'd sneak off into my grandparents' room and watch Yellow Submarine. Yeah, it was my favorite too. And did I repeat it? I'm gonna repeat it. Just play it safe. This legendary actor played the part of Dr. Zaius in the Planet of the Apes franchise. Was it A. James Whitmore, B. Maurice Evans, C. Roddy McDowell, D. James Daly? And the answer. Oh wait. Oh. Rock me Amadeus. Ooh, rock me. Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius. I hate every chimp I see. From chimpanzee to chimpanzee. Maurice Evans, who's probably best known, at least on this channel. He was Samantha's father in Bewitched. But he had a huge catalog of work as well. And I actually, if you guys remember years ago when I was on Dave's show, we were talking Planet of the Apes and those Planet of the Apes trivia. I was 9 out of 10. Why? He asked somehow what character in the TV show was the only holdover from the film franchise, and I thought it was a trick question. And no, it was Dr. Zaius, and I knew it too because I had just watched the TV show, but I choked, as I'm apt to do. So Emily says he played Sam's. Yes, he played Sam's dad. And Dora's ex-husband. And Gary says he also played Samantha's dad on. Yes, he did play Samantha's dad on Bewitched. And Zublik says Dana Gold T Pawns. Haven't you been watching YouTube? Dana Gold? Dana Gold, wasn't he? He was Rhoda's father. He's also the father in the pilot of Happy Days. So I'm so Zoop, I'm forgive me, I made a mistake somewhere. Dana Gold, the comedian. Yeah, wasn't he also oh, he was in something else. And I can't remember what. Yeah, he was in the Woody Allen movie Love and Death. He fought a duel with Woody Allen. Gary says Maurice Evans' last movie was A Caribbean Mystery. Not sure what the mystery was, but was it there's a giant sea turtle from Bermuda? Number 2. Who played the title character in the 1962 film Lolita? That being Lolita. Was it A. Patty Duke, B. Carol Lindley, C. Sue Lyon, or D. Marilyn Hanold? I shall repeat. Who played the title character in the 1962 flick Lolita? Was it A. Patty Duke? Oh, Lance Craven series says, hi, guys. Lance, so glad you could make it, my good friend. B. Carol Lindley, C. Sue Lyon, or D. Marilyn Hanold? And I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I keep wanting to say Harold, but it's not. It's Hanold, not Harold. And Trey says Harold Gould. Harold, it's funny. I just said Harold too. Harold Gould was. Then who the hell is Dana Gould? And why are we talking about him in relation to Maurice Evans? I'm not sure. I am very confused right now, but yes, Harold Gould. Thank you. I can hear Zuplex laughing hysterically at me. And Emily says Teb and Zuper say C, so C. Yes, it was Sue Lyon. And my favorite trivia question about her is, or trivia factoid about her is, when she went to see the opening of the film, I want to say it was in South Carolina, but whatever U.S. city, she went to see it at the opening. They wouldn't let her in because it was considered an adult film and she was only 17. She's like, I'm in it. They go, we don't care. There's decency laws in this state, And it's funny too because while most of the movie is done through innuendo, it was pretty raunchy for 1962. Oh, by the way, most of you know Carol Lindley was, of course, in Blue Denim. Talk about raunchy for the time. And Marilyn Hanold, everyone's like, who the hell is Marilyn Hanold? Marilyn Hanold was the disembodied head in the brain that wouldn't die. I was talking about her last night because I was watching Frankenstein versus the Monster from Space. Guilty pleasure. James Karen all the way. But anyway, yes, it was Sue Lyon. Rachel says the book was much worse than the movie. So I can only imagine. I can only imagine because they didn't have to worry about getting away with things back then. Well, the premise of it is pretty Al, you know. And number one, what couple were originally cast as Virginia and George in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Was it A, Shelley Winters and William Holden? B, Janet Leigh and Tony Curtis? C, Betty Davis and James Mason, speaking of Lolita? Or D, Mary Tyler Moore and Dick Van Dyke? I shall repeat. What couple were originally cast as George and Martha in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? I shouldn't say cast, it was more slated, more they had been loosely signed on. Oh, who just got here? Everyone's saying hello to somebody. I won't watch that garbage, Carrie says. Oh, Form is Content is here, pulling over from driving to say hi, Thrash, and chat, and thanks for mentioning Carol Lindley, my beloved. She was a very attractive young lady, was she not? And have you seen Blue Denim? Oh my gosh, that movie is like naughty. The guy from Happy Days was in it. He played a drill sergeant when they all get drafted. He plays the weird friend who actually sings in the movie. Ooh, baby, nobody but you. You know, I'm guessing none of you have seen Blue Velvet. I'm going to look like a total whack job for talking about it with such intensity, but go on and watch the movie. I can't do everything for you people. In any event, yes, Carolyn Lindley was great. Oh, I'm going to repeat the question one more time because I can't remember if I did or not, and I still see answers coming in. What Hollywood power couple were originally slated to play George and Martha in the cult dramedy classic Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? A, Shelley Winters and William Holden. B, Janet Leigh and Tony Curtis. C, Betty Davis and James Mason. Or D, Mary Tyler Moore and Dick Van Dyke. I kind of wish I had seen that. Let's see, any more answers coming in. And he says James Mason and Betty Davis were originally going to be in that. Yes, I should have read that silently before I read it out loud. Yes, the correct answer is C. James Mason and Betty Davis were originally cast as George and Martha Washington. George and Martha, I can't remember what his last name was. George and Martha in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? I am Georgie, I am. In any event, yes, which is funny because it actually went to Richard Burton, and there was that comedian who did that bit years ago where he did the Honeymooners as James Mason and um, Richard Burton. Oh, Norton, shall we go bowling tonight? It's a very important night for us, Norton. Our bowling night. I cannot possibly go bowling with you tonight, Ralph. Trixie's mother's coming for a few days. And okay, let's get some scores. Zublix is 8 out of 10. Tracy is 8 out of 10. He says, I don't think I could believe James Mason yelling for an hour and a half. Probably not. Gary says, MT impersonation of James Mason is hilarious. Why, thank you, Gary. I do appreciate it. It's one of my better impersonations, I do think. So if I say so myself. Emily is 7 for 7. Well played. Brogu is 6 out of 10. There's nothing to be ashamed of there. Rachel says 3 out of 10. This really was not my night, Rachel, but I thank you for playing, and I hope you at least had fun and possibly learned something. Indy says, I'm pretty sure I got some of them. I'm pretty sure you did too. Teb is 8 out of 10. And Gary says James Mason was great in Journey to the Center of the Earth. Join me, Pat Boone, and Gertrude the Duck as we journey to the center of the earth. Gary is 9 for 10. Keith is like, I'll just pretend I didn't keep score. I'm sure you got some of them. Excellent. And we'll see if we have any more scores. Zubik says, I like James Mason in The Last of Sheila. I never think I ever saw that. Oh, oh, Sheila. It was either that or Sheila. Hey, Sheila. Rachel says, my mind is a sponge for trivia. I am sure I picked up a few things. Praise from Caesar. Indy says the Brooks 1962 short film was The Critic, by the way. Thank you. I did not know that. Emily says, Rachel, classic movie really aren't my things either. I guess I'm on a couple and followed Superplex, the lead in a couple. Brooke says, that's what I get for watching Godzilla movies on YouTube. And Tracy says, Stella, hey, Stella. Oh, and Rachel says, that's Stella. So I should have gone with Stella. Hey, Stella. Hey, Stella. Lynn says, Oh, Sherry by Steve Perry. Oh, Sherry, our love holds on. Gary is joining the Me Too movement. And let's see what else we got going on here. We probably should think about wrapping things up, people. It's actually been virtually an hour and 20 minutes and change. So Emily says, then that makes me a lucky girl tonight. Excellent. And he was good at North by Northwest. He actually really was. And he says, thanks for the trivia, Bob. And no, that was not to a state trooper. You're very, very welcome. It's always my pleasure. I'm glad I was able to do some this week. Anyway, guys, I'm wicked glad I was able to see you guys this week. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night. Yes, I had an absolutely outstanding time tonight. I love doing these with you guys. It makes my whole week. I'm getting used to a new job. It's actually kind of taking its toll on me. I do intend to have more content. If I don't get anything posted during the week this week, I promise you, I will post something over the 4th of July weekend. It probably won't be a 4th of July commemorative thing. I tried that once and nobody cared. You only get credit for 4th of July when you actually do a whole Stars and Stripes thing and film fireworks and that type of thing. And all I did was talk about 4th of July related movies. But I will have new content by next week, come heck or heck water. Gary says, good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are. Everyone else is saying good night. Anyway, guys, and I took those notes down, so I'll get those things out for you with all speed. I want to thank all you guys again. I think I'm going to call it here, but like I say, I got an early morning, and Mrs. Thresh and I actually have a couple things to take care of before I go into work tomorrow. So, I think I'm going to call it a night. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, be good, be safe, be careful. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.